D.Va is the character that has the most bugs, that is the most likely to break, and when anything changes, D.Va is the most complicated, because in essence, D.Va is actually two characters. You know, it's the pilot who rides inside of the mech, and it causes so many issues for the engine and for the technology behind the game, but we're so in love with the concept of this character that, you know, every patch we fix more and we create more, but D.Va has a lot of bugs. I think the funniest thing about Orisa was how we prototyped her. Jeff Goodman, our hero designer, he basically needed a character that didn't look like anybody else, so he took Zarya but put her in the gothic skin, and then he took Bastion's weapon and made that the weapon that Zarya was carrying, so that way we could do playtests that had Zarya in it and people wouldn't get confused about who was Zarya and who was Orisa. At one point, we had a version of Reinhardt that was actually from Numbani, and it was themed after a wildebeest. At another point, it's interesting now that I think about Efi and Orisa, but the character was actually piloted by a little girl, and then we sort of switched and we said, we went more with the traditional looking armor set. You know, a lot of people would have taken that character in the imposing, menacing direction, but I always loved Chris Metzen's description of who Reinhardt should be. And the way Chris used to describe him to us was, he's the guy you want to hang out with in the bar who's always buying you drinks. So that's how we came about Reinhardt. Roadhog was a character that started out only with a piece of concept art. Arnold Sang had drawn a piece of concept art and it was just called The Junkers. And it was for a different game. And there were these amazing characters that just looked, you know, you looked at them and you immediately had this imagination of what they all did. And when we were pitching Overwatch as a concept, we took that piece of concept art and said, well, the cool part about Overwatch is that any one of these characters could be a hero, and we used Roadhog to show that. Like in some other game, this would just be like some enemy fodder that you'd be fighting, but in our game, this is a character that you get to play, and we used Roadhog in that way. We've all seen these, the typical video game characters that you tend to see, especially with females. And we were really questioning, like, well, why does it have to be that way? And I think a lot of the community was questioning that too. Like, can't video games represent other body styles? And one that we were super excited about was like a super strong, you know, weightlifting, bodybuilding female body type. We wanted to make this game with heroes, and they were all gonna have their own unique abilities, and we're asking ourselves, how far can we push things? Arnold showed us this picture and we looked at it and we're like, that's amazing. That's a hero I want to play. Yes, he's in the game. And then Arnold sort of went on and he said, well, he talks. And we're like, yeah, that's still cool. And we still want him in the game. I don't think we've gone to crazy land yet. And we're like, okay, this is pretty good. And then, you know, Arnold ended it with, by the way, he's from the moon. And we're like, yeah, all right, at this point it just doesn't even matter. We don't know or care how far in that is. Winston is in the game.
If you like this video, why not check out 5 secrets you didn't know about Overwatch's support heroes, which includes never before seen early footage of the game. Pretty cool, huh?